Bloops as we begin, but let's go ahead and start. Welcome to the Interledger Community Call, everybody, our monthly gathering. Just a quick reminder, if you or colleagues ever want to revisit these, they are available as both video and podcasts. I believe the details for accessing those are in the Evergreen Notes doc. Vanille will share it in just a second if you don't already have it in the chat, but there's the note doc. Go ahead and sign in. Obviously, you can see what the agenda is. Feel free to add comments or questions or anything along those lines if you want. Also, I think we will probably have some time today. So if you've got any quick, 60 seconds or less updates, community call outs, needs for peer assists, celebrations, anything you want at the end, we'll be doing a little bit of open mic and you can jump on there and share accordingly. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Adrian for our first update, which is Fynbos. Take it away, Adrian.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Yeah, so from Fynbos' side, he's just left the office, but I believe that Donovan deployed our production API keys for our GateHub integration this afternoon. And we're getting into the last bit of testing there on being able to enable an EU experience for Fynbos users. So thanks to our friends at GateHub for all the help there. There's been a few last minute bits of work they've had to do to help us get that going. We still have one or two little things to tick off there, specifically around Rafiki and open payments, but otherwise all looking good. And then on the US side, had a meeting with our license partner last night around the correspondent arrangement we're in the process of working on with them and Paywiser and GateHub. So still actively working at trying to set up a peering across the Atlantic between those two. There's quite a lot that goes into it, but we think we're getting closer. It seems painfully slow, but we're making a little bit of progress all the time. So hopefully we'll have peering between US and European Fynbos users in the not too distant future. And then finally on the US side, we've just been testing some new pay in and pay out flows with a new partner that we have finally gotten integrated with for our card related withdrawals and deposits. And that's we've completed the rollout of the deposit flows. A few things we have to iron out on the withdrawal side, but that's it on the Fynbos side. One last thing, been chatting with Alex and Sabine lately about how we can sort of bring some of what we've been working on around peering and correspondent agreements into kind of the gambit of into the ILF and work a little more closely on those and see if some of the work product of those projects can be reusable and where we can collaborate a bit more on that. So hopefully more to come on that down the line as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Adrian. Anybody want to raise their hand or open their mic for any questions or anything before we move on? Alex?
Yes. I'm extremely happy for both you and GateHub working together, obviously, and the fact that we've managed to go and use the product, the more the merrier. I think my one question is, do you have a timeline for you think you're going to get connected at this point? I feel like you might be the first connecting pair in the network. I know you and Chimani are also separately working on a connecting pair. Do you have a timeline of when you think that's going to happen with GateHub?
Do you mean so with GateHub? Just to be clear, with GateHub, what we've been working on is deploying a Fynbos branded, like our wallet experience on top of GateHub's infrastructure. So in terms of interop between those users and GateHub users, that's a follow-up. That's not something we're working on yet, but that should be pretty straightforward. So I'll pick that up with today. So I can't put a date on that. In terms of being able to do payments between either GateHub or Fynbos EU users and Fynbos US, that's going to come after we've solved the kind of legal and regulatory stuff, which we're working on
That-
between all the licensed entities.
That's what I was asking. The correspondent relationship, if you had the timeline on that correspondent relationship you're live.
No, I don't. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's taking a lot longer than we'd hoped. Unfortunately, it has to all be sort of driven by the guys who have the licenses. So we're trying to facilitate and push things along. But yeah, it can only move as fast as they can. So you and I can take this offline, Alex, see if there's a way we can prod them a little bit. But I think the latest meeting we had was last night, and they have found some external consultants in the UK actually who have done this before, set up correspondent relations between non-bank FIs, and who have what looks like a pretty good playbook. So we basically need to understand specifically how that applies to this case and what it's going to take to do that. I don't anticipate it's going to be anything less than like 3 months would be my guess. That would probably be optimistic. But the main stuff to solve for are data privacy considerations, and then obviously KYC, AML, like compliance stuff and data sharing. And then the technical side is sort of probably the easiest actually.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Adrian.
Sure.
And I think Enej is on the call. Thank you, Enej, as well.
Hello.
I have a
Go for it,
Yes.
Fernando.
Oh, yes. Hi. Hello, everyone. I have a question, Adrian. How are you dealing with the regulatory side inside the US? Are you guys using someone else's licenses, or are you opting to use your own licenses? And what kind of licenses are required to operate throughout the US?
Yeah, we're partnered with an MSP, so we don't have our own licenses. We previously operated as an agent of an MSP. We found that model really challenging, and in fact, the agent we were working with actually had a consent order in one of the states against them around basically giving agency in the way that they were. What it boiled down to was the state regulator told them that if we were going to be their agent, that we had to still offer our product under their domain. It was like a really weird interpretation. So we ended that late last year, and we've been operating as purely a program manager on top of an existing MSP since then. So we have a partner who is licensed in all 51 states as an MSP. And fortunately are pretty crypto friendly as well, so they allow us to be a little more innovative and who we partner with. And it's that entity who we're working with to set up correspondent relations with GateHub and their EMI in Europe.
Okay, great, thanks.
All right, we're going to move on to some Interledger Foundation updates. Since I've got the high-tech camera positioned already, Alex, go ahead and get a few welcomes on the ILF team.
Thank you. So as you've seen probably in the community channels, we've been expanding at the Interledger Foundation. I would like to give a warm welcome to Bradley Dow, our new senior technical writer at the ILF, and to Ioana Chiorean. I know some of you already know Ioana from the summit and from the community chat. Ioana joining us as the newest engineering manager at the ILF. Welcome both, and I hope you'll have a good time here with us. And while we're here, I've also got some other updates so that we don't skip around. With this increased capacity, we started doing more advocacy, developer experience, and general outreach. So you'll see us participating in more and more events around the world. We've got the list of them in the agenda. Please feel free to drop by, say hi, or join us at any of those events. Some of them are virtual, some of them are mostly in Europe right now. I think we have something in Cape Town coming up if you're a student. But if you want to be involved with events, if you want to support or the mission at events, or if you just want to help us shout out about where we are and what we're doing, let me, Ioana, or Vinyl know, and we'll take care of it from there.
All right, I'll jump on for a few more ILF updates. One, many of you probably have seen that the newest call for proposals for digital financial services is now live. The link probably to the announcement and the full application guideline is in the notes for this meeting. Many of you probably already have seen it. You might already be working on stuff, so on and so forth. What we really need, my big ask here is that if you could please circulate it to as many people as possible, or walk it to people specifically if you think they're uniquely positioned to apply, or even ununiquely. In the application guide, there's all kinds of ways to get a hold of us, to reach us, etc. But we'd like to see that link bounce around the internet, especially in these communities that are relevant to you all, and you all are experts in that. Also, if you have ideas on where we could put it or who we could reach out to, but don't feel comfortable doing it yourself, please just reach out to me or anyone on the program team. I think it's programteam@interledger.org will actually hit all of us on our team. So I just wanted to call attention to that and say that you all are some of our best multipliers for that opportunity. So we would appreciate your help. On a similar tip, as you also probably know, the Interledger Summit in Cape Town dates are now live. It is Saturday and Sunday, October 26th and 27th. So it's similar time in the calendar as previous years, but about a week earlier in late October. The important thing here, I think probably for most of you, and I'll again ask for a peer assist, is that the call for speakers is also now open. An important thing to note about the call for speakers is this is how we will fill sessions, tech talks, panels. It's also this year how we're filling the innovation exhibition. So that's the sort of, if some of you have been there or participated this in the past, where you have a station, you talk about your work, your project, people are circulating. It's kind of an informal, but actually leads to lots of connections and deep dives. That's also now part of the call for speakers. So basically, any way that you might want to be involved in the program, that is the way in which you would go ahead and apply using the same system and sessionize as previous years. So if you've done it before, it's going to be very familiar. It's got all the themes and all the things you need to know to apply. And that is going to be the main way in which you can get on the summit program agenda. I believe the link is also in the notes. I'm sure Vanilla will put them in the chat as well. And I believe, help me, when's that closed? So that, the call for speakers is open until the 28th of May. So here is what we said. We only got a couple weeks, basically. So time is of the essence here. The goal is that we really can lock in the program much earlier in the year this year so that we can start to advertise it, promote, and have a way for people to get excited about what they're going to participate with. So, and again, if you think people out there would be interested, you think should be there, have great ideas, please do not be shy in sharing that out and about. Also, from the summit links, you can also go ahead and reserve your ticket. It's not a full commitment. So it is a good idea if you're even thinking about coming to go ahead and RSVP and put in a request for a ticket. Then when we're ready to release the tickets, you'll get that directly in your inbox. Alex went over some other events that you can see him or Ioana or other folks here out and about, and we'll continue to update on that on these calls and in Slack. We do have a Rafiki update. Who was going to do the Rafiki update today?
Rafiki is a written update.
Written update. Gotcha. Okay. And is that the same for Breakpoint, or are they going to talk?
Breakpoint, Benny is going to share.
All right, Benny, it's you.
Hi, guys. I'm going to share the screen.
Hi,
Are you
Benny.
able to see it?
Not yet. Now.
Here it comes.
Yes.
Yep.
There, you're good.
Okay. So as we just had our workshop in late April in the city of Cluj-Napoca, Romania, home of the Breakpoint team, I'd like to shortly share some of it with you. We had participants both from Interledger and the Breakpoint team. So the people that were able to make it were Alex, Sabine, Max, Ioana, TD, Timea, Diana, Radu, RP, Bogdan, myself, Erika, and Christina. And this was actually the first time that the team as a whole met the new members, RP and Bogdan. So bringing everyone together in Cluj also had that benefit for us. Now, what did we do there? We, of course, had an agenda that we actually managed to stick to. The work was spread in 3 days. The first day was about an overview of our currently developed projects. We did some demos and had feedback rounds. Improvement ideas were flying across the rooms, and we had all sorts of discussions on our projects. And the involved projects were, of course, Test Wallet, Test Boutique, Interledger Pay, Web Extension, Telemetry, and Rafiki itself. And on the second day, which was mostly about roadmaps and milestones, we discussed what we would like to achieve in the future so that the vision and priorities of the whole team are aligned. And in the last day, we focused on our existing documentation, on how we could improve it and to figure out what it might be missing. We also went over some of Rafiki's environment variables in order to improve the integrator experience regarding the configurations that they must do on their own setups. And of course, as you can see from the bottom left screenshot, Max was taking notes of this, so it was all documented. Thanks, Max. But all in all, we did not just have a productive week, we also had a great time. Social time with these people that work together with the same vision is always a great experience, and we are happy to have spent this time together as colleagues. The Romanian folks are looking forward to welcoming everyone back for the Rafiki Work Week that is going to happen in August. So I will see you there. And that's the gist of what happened in Cluj. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Any questions or comments or follow-ups about the work week? Go ahead and open your mic and let us know. Vanille's also monitoring the chat, so if you've got questions there, people can either respond in kind and text, or Vanille will. Because the dog, it's a dog. It's not a meme.
So the dog is the office mascot. The dog is the office mascot, and I feel like the dog is overworked. The
I
dog.
was about to say the dog was not happy to be working so much with us, and he was like, no, want to get back, leave me alone.
How many Shibu coins is he worth? All right. That means we are moving on to our deep dive, which is going to be Enej and GateHub. This is going to be an exciting one. Adrian kind of previewed a little bit in the Fynbos updates, but let's go deep diving. Are you ready to take over?
I'm ready. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
We can.
Wonderful. Hello, everybody. I'm Enej from GateHub. I'm the founder and CEO. We've been quite busy lately with the Interledger and especially the Rafiki implementation. So GateHub, for those of you that don't know us yet, we've been up and running for, well, almost 10 years now. So this year is going to be our 10th anniversary. And yeah, mainly we were doing two things, wallets and the issuing gateway on the XRP ledger. So we currently support, I believe, 19 different currencies, including dollars, euros, and British pound. And back in the days, so that was in 2016, which is quite a long time ago already, we were also the first wallet that integrated Interledger protocol, and also the first one to demo it on stage together with Bitstamp back then. So going forward to today, we've processed so far more than $4 billion of DEX exchanges and payments. And we've also are currently serving 1.6 million wallets and 1.4 million users. So yeah, we're currently focusing primarily on Europe. And on that front, as a lot of you probably know, there is an upcoming regulation coming called MiCA. And MiCA is going to bring regulation for fiat-based stablecoins by June or the end of June this year. And for all the other crypto, and this includes any exchanges, any custodial crypto as a service or wallet providers. That's going to be until the end of the year. So GateHub needs to cover both of those because we are both the electronic money token issuer and also electronic money institution. So on that front, we're partnering with the company called Paywiser, which is already a regulated EMI in Slovenia. And they have their license passported throughout the EU region, meaning we can already legally on and off ramp and process cross-border payments with any other regulated institutions. So as soon as we figure out these missing pieces together with Fynbos, I think we're going to be good to go and open some good volumes on that front. So on the Interledger side of things, we have implemented Rafiki I believe, we demoed it last year in Costa Rica. So that was just a demo of the peer-to-peer transactions. And in April, or more precisely on 23rd of April, we also opened open payments for the general public. So essentially anyone with a GateHub account can now already utilize the open payments and do the payment pointers and try it out, the online payments and all of that. And we're very, very much looking forward to be working with Adrian and his team on getting the cross-border payments from US to Europe and vice versa up and running, obviously, as soon as we figure out all the bolts and pieces of the compliance stuff. Yeah, that's really briefly. Our team has been really excited to be working on the Interledger, especially on the latest version. We do believe that this is the one that's going to go huge, and it's really exciting to have all of you guys here working on it and thinking about integrating it. And please do let us know if you want to work with us or peer with us or in any way use GateHub as your perhaps underlying wallet infrastructure or something similar to that. I also have Tadej here with me, who is our head of infrastructure. So he can answer some of the more technical questions in case you might have them. But yeah, that was a quick update from GateHub side. Hey, Sabine.
Hi, Enej. This is very exciting. Thank you for the update. I
Sure.
just logged into my GateHub account while you were talking, and I'm trying to find where can I create my payment pointer. I think Alex told me before I have to go under advanced, but I still don't see it. Am I a beta user? Do I not see it?
Sorry, I will take over this. No, Sabine, you're not beta user. Payment pointers are supported only on our hosted wallet. So GateHub has two types of wallets. One is XRP wallet and one is hosted wallet. So you need to go above, create new hosted wallet, and then on that hosted wallet, go to advanced, and you will see their Interledger settings, when you can create payment pointers for euros and dollars.
Can one of you share your screen and just do a quick walkthrough of that? That would be super helpful.
I am actually on my phone, so I am not able
I can share my screen if you navigate me.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Yeah,
because I'm already logged in anyways.
Go for it.
And I'm not.
I think this is a very good first-time user experience, Sabine. Go for it.
Okay. So, I mean, this is the host I wanted. It doesn't have any funds in it.
This one is XRP Ledger. You can see here in wallet
Oh,
settings
is it?
type, it's called XRP Ledger type. So this is XRPL wallet. So if you go here, yes, and you can now create new wallet, yeah. You will need to enter probably your password and two-factor authentication.
Ooh. Okay. Good that I have that. I've opened too. GateHub. Here you are.
Okay.
Hosted.
And now create wallet. Yeah, hosted this one. And you can name your wallet like hosted. Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Your wallet is created. Now you can go to advanced section, and underneath there is Interledger settings. You have 0 payment pointers. You can create now new payment pointer for US dollar. Click on create. So currently we support only dollar and euro. You can select one. You can now then click on create, and then you have payment pointer that is tied to your account, and you can click now on this payment pointer. You can also upload developer keys. If that's the reason that you need to have them. And you can also copy this payment pointer, for example. Well, this is production environment, so not on Rafiki Boutique, but yeah, for example, on Interledger Pay or somewhere else, and you can then do a transaction there.
So the very subtle feature here is the fact that with your key, you'll see some more in CD's walkthrough. So with your key, you can do open payments. That means all of the GateHub payment pointers have the open payment API is enabled. That means you can do delegated access, grant management, and that also means the weaponization extension that CD is going to demo in a second is not really ready for production use, but technically can be used right now with GateHub to send real money, to move real money with open payments out of GateHub accounts. Congratulations to the GateHub team. I know it was a heavy lift, and by the fact that Tade kept sending me updates on a Saturday and Sunday morning, I'm guessing you pulled some long weekends over this. Congratulations. This is a full open payments implementation. Now, the only thing left for you and Fynbos to do is to pair, so we can start sending money across ledgers. But congratulations.
Thank you. So basically, we did everything in one day. I just had a snooze. I mean, I just had a cron job that sends you update every day so that you will think that you are working for 14 days, you know.
All right, before we move on to CD and the web monetization update, I'm not looking directly, but I do believe a text chat-based question came in for the GateHub team. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, Stephanie has a question for Enej. Yeah.
Go for it, Stephanie.
Yes, I typed it in the chat, actually, if I'm the only Stephanie here. Basically, my ambassador project is to come up with a privacy framework that we recommend for the implementation of the protocol. I'm having quite a difficult time just mapping everything and trying to understand what you guys are doing. And I need some use cases. So if anybody has any information, like for instance, if in Slovenia you had any interventions from the data commissioner, they don't translate everything there. So, you know, it's a little struggle for those of us looking on. I'm trying to get to what they're giving in advice for these things, because frankly, the existing landscape for payment schemes from a privacy perspective is awful. There isn't any. Everybody gathers data for competitive purposes. We're trying to do better, right? At least I hope we're trying to do better to protect our people. So I'm looking for explanations, use cases, and any work that's been done in this area. And I won't be surprised or shocked if nobody's been figuring out the privacy angles. So don't be shy. Thanks.
Thank you, Stephanie. Any response to that? That's really a open-ended ask that we can't necessarily solve in the next 2 minutes, but I think we will be following up, and we would love for people to take her offer of sharing their case studies and starting.
Yeah, so I would say, because this is quite big question. The response is not something that we can squeeze in 2 minutes. So Stephanie, if you won't mind, can you please just shoot me an email? I will write my email in here in chat, and we can discuss this over offline. And Chris, maybe we can then include this response in the notes if somebody else is interested. So that would be probably good. Yeah, great.
And it'll go on a short list for future deep dives and community calls too. This is a bubbling topic.
Yeah, I've got, I think I've got 3 months left in my ambassadorship, so I'm getting a little panicky about even understanding it. And the whole purpose of my project was to explain it. I've been in this privacy business for 40 years, so to explain it to data commissioners and outside contacts. But in order to do that, I have to explain the payment system to them. And that's proving to be quite a challenge, sort of out of scope of my project, but you can't figure out the privacy unless you understand how all the bits connect. Thanks.
Well, I think GateHub is your perfect place to start.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, I'll add from our side, this is part of what we're trying to solve in setting up these peering or correspondent relations. Because I think there's quite a few of us who have deployed Rafiki or open payments in sort of isolation and are able to transact internally. And so data exchange isn't a big concern. When you want to start transacting with other entities, then you need to exchange data for regulatory reasons. And figuring out exactly how that works, we chose to defer until we actually have a candidate relationship that's being developed. So I think this is one of them, and this is definitely something that's come up from the internal counsel at our US partner, that, you know, for them to, for example, set up a relationship with an EU entity means understanding GDPR and understanding the implications for them as a US entity and so on. So there's a lot here, and happy to try and help Stephanie as we figure this out as well. I'll drop you my email as well.
Thank you very much. That would be much appreciated.
Sure.
Awesome. Solving problems on the community call. I love it. All right. So we will move over to CD and a web monetization update. I believe you're out there in the Interledger Ether. Is that correct, CD?
I am out here in the Ether. Thanks, Chris. Can you hear me? Cool. Thank you. And hi, everyone. Alrighty. So the last time that I shared with you about the web monetization extension work, we were coming fresh out of the first week of Feb, where we had a small subset of folks from the monetization community meet up in Cape Town and think and talk and solve problems in the direction of getting us to an extension. I was hyper aggressively optimistic and gave all sorts of timelines that I have since missed. So I very humbly appear here today. However, what I want to share with you is what we have worked on in March and April, and what we're working on currently in May. Every day I look at somebody who says, so when can I have something that I'm going to use? And I'm just like, soon. So let me tell you what soon means and what we've done since the last time we chatted. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. I'll talk briefly through each point. So actually in the last handful of days, I've noticed that we have had occasion to debate what global disablement or global enablement means. However, having the extension globally be able to say, okay, I've set all of my funky doodads up for monetization, and I want to be able to flick a switch that says, okay, so sorry, this is not set up yet, but if it were set up, being able to just disable it or enable it at a global level. So that's one point that we worked on in the last 3 months. And then one of the, maybe I'll call it an architectural decision that came out of the work week in Feb, was using public key cryptography to have the extension authenticate itself to the wallet that it connects to. And what that impacted is the fact that first of all, when you install the extension, it generates a unique public-private key pair. It stores the private key securely and displays the public key on the interface. And you're able to copy that public key and upload it to the wallet that you're going to connect to, which we'll show that momentarily. So okay, so that was the impact of that architectural decision of implementing public key cryptography for this. Okay, and then secondly, just that right at the point of establishing, well, I'll show it just now actually, but after I enter my wallet address over here, prior to entering the wallet address, you'll see some default or like some example values in the field, the entry field. However, as I enter what my wallet address is over here, the amount field will be updated with detecting what the currency of my wallet actually is. So let's do that right here. This is a South African Rand wallet. And all I wanted to show you is that some additional bit of work that we did there was ensuring that even prior to connecting, we're able to query the wallet and say, hey man, like what currency do you operate in, and update the user interface accordingly. Okay. But for today, I'm going to test with a US dollar wallet. So there we go. Okay. All right, so moving along. I guess I'm talking and showing you at the same time. Next, there was quite a bit of work that we have done around the hourly rate. So let's say I enter my wallet address, authorize some amount of money, quickly interact with my wallet and give the extension permission to do that. Cool. Now I'm connected, right? So there's a slider scale where I'm able to say what the hourly rate is that I would like to set, up to a maximum of $1 per hour. So the interesting points about implementing this slider scale were, okay, so there are about three. The first is the default value is 60 cents an hour, but as you can see, I can set that to whatever it is that I'd like it to be. The second is my wallet might not be in US dollars. So what the plugin or the extension shows should not just be, the US dollar value, but the equivalent of whatever that would be in the currency of your wallet, right? So if this were in South African Rand, it would be a different default value equivalent to 60 US dollar cents. And the maximum would be a different value, but equivalent to $1 US. And this is just an implementation decision that we made. So as we go through usability testing and gather feedback, I'm sure there'll be some very valuable and interesting feedback points that we get on, right, like how this translates and what it means and whether it is usable or not, etc., in the context that users operate. And another point that's interesting and worth mentioning, just because it required a little bit of thinking and doing on the part of implementing, was this. So let's say that I've said that my hourly rate is $1 per hour. So does that mean that after an hour only, the extension is going to say, hey man, pay this website that I'm on? Not exactly. We needed for the extension to be able to figure out what the minimum amount is that the connected wallet would be able to receive. And then based on that minimum amount, determine what the frequency of sending money from the extension to that wallet to the website needed to be. So if I have something like 5 cents an hour, the per second rate will be so low that I know that any US dollar account that I interact with probably can only receive 1 cent per hour. So that's certainly the case with the two digital wallets that we have on our radar currently, right? The Fynbos wallet and the GateHub wallet. So the extension would then need to determine what frequency to send how much money in order for the hourly rate to work out to whatever it is that you've set up as on the extension on the slider right there. So yeah, there was a little bit of footwork that needed to be done to get that working, but maybe those are the three main areas around getting the hourly rate for monetization payment to work. Before we got to May, we also embarked on a bit of a major refactor. I guess I think of it as something of a cleanse or like detoxing, but the point was to stabilize the code base for being maintainable in the future. So we consolidated functionality into services, etc., and just I suppose made the code base more coherent. This took a little bit more time than we had wanted, but I would say that we are already reaping the benefits, at least in terms of the orderliness and the way in which the different services and functions have been implemented prior to what we had before March. So this is feeling like something that nobody else but we care about, but I think it sets us up well for maintainability in the future. Cool, and then moving into May, following the major refactor, we then went into being able to handle more than one web monetization link tag or wallet address on a web page. Previously, we were only handling, being able to handle payment to a single one with multiple tags. We're now saying detect what the tags are, validate them, and then split evenly whatever the hourly rate or whatever the one-time payment is to that website. We then need to make sure that the different monetization events for whether a web page is active or not are evoked at the correct time. So starting, stopping, resuming. And then finally, ensuring that the extension detects a web monetization enabled page before the entire page is necessarily loaded or displayed. That was one improvement that we were able to work on as well. And then finally, May is not yet over, but getting the recurring monthly budget authorization to work. So I enter my wallet address. I would like to authorize $10 a month. And actually, I want for the extension to renew or to auto-authorize $10 for my wallet every month. And it's going to be every month from whichever day it is that I give the permission or I connect to my wallet. So getting that renewable monthly amount implemented. Okay. Cool. So that is what we have definitely built and have already merged into the main code base. In order of priority, what we are working on merging or getting into the extension, hopefully really, really soon, is getting one-time payments implemented, which would appear on this page. So there'd be a little bit more than just setting the hourly rate. Handling multiple iframes on a monetized website as well. So currently, the monetization tags would have to be just in the main frame of the web page. So anything in an iframe would be disregarded. However, we want to be able to handle monetized iframes and being able to choose whether you want to enable or disable continuous payments, and then finally displaying the balance that remains of whatever you'd authorize at the point that you connected your wallet. And then you might have noticed, point number 5, you might have noticed that the balance or the amount is displayed with all of the extra decimal points. This is not necessary. So if it is a fiat currency, typically 2 decimal points are enough. However, there are different asset codes that might require a higher asset scale. So there's a bit of rules that, let's call it rules that determine how to display the asset scale, but getting this to be a lot more normalized. These are the 5 top items that we are still working on and will hopefully be ready super soon. I am now no longer going to say tomorrow because I feel that I have done that quite enough, and what you need is a working extension and not like an optimistic, it's happening next week kind of thing. Adam, please go ahead.
Thank you. So the slider is really exciting, especially from a consumer point of view. But I'm wondering from the content provider point of view, where access to content might be provided because someone has the browser extension. But now, I guess, because that slider exists, like there's a difference between someone getting 5 cents an hour and $1 an hour. So I was wondering, like, is there any like information that could be sent to the content provider so that they could say, hey, you only get access to this exclusive content if you pay 30 cents an hour or something? Like, I don't know how to think about that now.
Yeah, so no, the short answer is no, because the content provider can do math. There's no way we can enforce it. So that slider, right, you can move that slider around and payments don't go through because your payment pointer or your account is empty, right? But we could signal the content provider that you're willing to pay $1 an hour, but then the content provider can't actually verify that. So what we're doing is we're sending with every monetization event, we're sending the amount so that you can figure out if you get paid 2 cents every minute, that your rate is 120 an hour or something like that. Or if you get paid 1 cent every minute or 6 cents every 6 minutes, by doing the delta in there, you can figure the rate yourself by doing simple math. So we're not doing any of that. The difference is, and I think the biggest difference from Coil is where it's not in CD's update, but it's on the roadmap, is we are looking to provide tools for content producers and content in general to be able to work with webinization easier from the content producer side. So tools that do all this math for you and then show you a pop-up that says, hey, actually, if you want this, you have to move that slide up to $1 an hour, and things like that. We are working on it. Awesome. But the page will never get signaled about your rate of pay. I actually had a question for the community call. Thank you, CD, for the update. Thank you, the webinization team, for getting us there. I know we're still a way away from being able to alpha release and have some feedback from this community call. I think one of the things that we've been struggling with lately, and I would really appreciate community input on this, is that asset scale display that CD was showing you. And that is because it's really hard to put 9 zeros after the decimal point, right? In the UI everywhere. And we've took inspiration from our ecosystem and some of the people around here. For example, GateHub does sometimes 4, sometimes 6, sometimes nothing. The Bitcoin world does exponentials, e to the minus whatever. And I feel like even inside the tech team, half of the people didn't really understand what that notation was. If you've seen this problem solved before, send it our way. Take a screenshot, send it our way. We're always happy to hear about it. Trying to do crowdsourced research and user experience into this would be really helpful, especially some of you have been around ecosystems where 9 decimal points isn't really a problem. Yeah, Adrian seems like he solved this before. Yeah, no, he hasn't solved this before. It's okay. So if you have
currencies.
Yeah, if you have an idea, do give us a Slack message. Send us a Slack message. Me and CD would love to hear about it.
Yes, please. Cool. Thank you very much. And that's it, Chris.
All right. Give me 1 second. My Zoom went. Oh no, that's because I'm not on Zoom. Right. There we go. Okay. This is great. I just want to say this felt like kind of some low-key huge updates this week. So congrats everyone that's been working on these things. We will be CD, you'll share the blog post that you were kind of screen sharing. When that's ready, that'll go out. It'll go out on Slack, and it'll be on this notes document. This is the evergreen notes. You can always return to it. You can also ask questions in there or ask for follow-ups, but it will go there. Just quickly, any quick updates anyone has around that anyone wants to share or anything? You get a quick 30 seconds. Just open up your mic and start gabbing. All right. The clock in my head said that means nobody had anything to update, which is fine. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and call this community call to a close. Thank you, everybody that presented. Thanks for everyone that engaged. Again, you can find all the notes and details always in this doc. This doc will live on in perpetuity, and it collects every community call, I think, for at least the last 3 years or 2 years, something like that. So this is an important document to keep bookmarked. And with that, I'll let people go. And
no, Adrian needs to see this. I feel like Adrian needs to see this. Please turn around. No, Adrian, no. I need more hands to face palm more. No. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. So with that, no, but say yes for the rest of your week, and we will see you on Slack.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.